Hi everyone, David Maley here, and today I'm going to show you some really cool stuff that's really simple to do in Excel to do with sales, sales charts, and graphing. And so basically, if you look at the screen right here, this is actual sales data from a local car dealership around here, and this has it broken out by week as to what each sales rep has sold, which is kind of cool. And all this is with these colors in here is I went up here to conditional formatting, and you can click on this. Instead of clicking on a rule, all I did was color scales in the first one. That's all that I did, and you highlight the whole area. And what that does is it makes it so that you can obviously quickly see who has the highest sales and who is the problem children. Okay, and so you can quickly see Greg here has all greens, with some more green than others. And you can see some people like Robbie have a lot of reds. Charles has some reds. Lisa has some reds. And you can see from there where they are, and if they're just, like if it's a pattern or if it's just a few months. Then what I did was I took this at the very end, and I took their data, and what I did was I went and calculated weekly goals. So for this, all I did was very simple. I didn't do monthly goals. I did yearly goals, and then I took from that monthly goals because it's more rounded that way. It's better to do it that way. And so what I did was I took an average. Here's the average formula I used right here of the 52 weeks, and by doing that I get these numbers right here: 3, 1, 3, 3. That's their average, obviously, and this is weekly. So obviously Greg, who has all greens basically except for one yellow or two yellows, he's got a higher number, 7. And then some of these people that don't sell a whole lot, this person had a week where they sold 0 here. And here they get 1s or low numbers. Then what you do to get the monthly goal is you can look it up on the internet if you want. The average number of weeks per month comes out to 4.345. Actually, it's 4.3451, something like that. So I use that number and calculate it, and here's the actual monthly goals. Now obviously February is a little bit shorter, has 28 to 29 days in it, and some days like December will have more days, 31 days. So but it all averages out, so it doesn't really matter in the end by using yearly. So here's their yearly or monthly goals, I'm sorry. And so you take as I showed you to calculate these, and then what I did was most car dealerships and most sales places that sell big ticket items will have a established minimal goal. Okay, and that's where you either get special attention or you may end up finding yourself working somewhere else if you're below that. So what I did was I took this and then I went here and said, okay, their minimum acceptable goal was 10 cars. If you sold 10 cars or above, you were left alone. If you sold less than 10 cars, basically you met the door. So that's what their goal was. And so people that hit below that at the end of the year, or if they're doing worse earlier on in the year, this is what their goals were. So you can see here how the 6 here becomes a 10. They need to get this up, and they're going to address it with them. If they don't, they're going to get dropped. Same with these two here. But if they hit their goals, if they even just matched them, or exceeded them, they're fine. So they can also quickly see in a moment's notice who's ahead, who's behind, where are they every month, because to car dealerships, monthly goals are the most important thing. They want to see how they are at the end of the month. Where did they end up at the end of the month? What deals went on this month versus next month? So they can quickly look in here and say, okay, the first week, this is where we're trending. We got to address these two right here. Next week, well, this one that worked, whatever we addressed with them, but we got to work on these guys here. Then next week, he's back down. Let's address it again. So that's what they can do and try to help reach their goals of having the sales managers do that. Now, what I did below was I took this same data. I did not use pivot charts. All I had to do was take this data and highlight the whole area, and then I went up to insert and then recommended charts. And then when you click on recommended charts, I clicked on all charts, and I went through them to find the most interesting charts. So for this data, the most interesting charts going from weeks 0 to week 51, which is basically the same thing as week 1 through 52, okay, is a stacked area chart, which quickly shows what we're seeing here. It shows in a more graphical format that obviously Greg is the trendsetter. He's got the most sales throughout the year, throughout just about every month. I'm not sure if there's anybody that even comes close to him in any month. This one comes close a couple times right there. But regardless, it shows you how they're doing throughout the year. And what's neat about this is you can actually show throughout the year. Like, so if your cutoff was week 14, week 18, whatever, it would show you up to that point. Then you've got below it a Pareto chart, which is going to show you your distributions, but not distributions by the sales reps. This is an important chart because it shows you by your weeks. So in this case, for this data for this dealership, I can't see that by looking at this. But if I go down here, I can see that week 7 is my top selling week of the year. Doesn't make sense, right? But it's the way it is. Week 39 is my second highest. Week 12 is third highest. And then it goes on to a flat, plateau here of these weeks, so on. And your worst performing weeks of the year are weeks 18 and weeks 47. So if you're thinking about doing some marketing, you want to bring up some areas of opportunity and address them and increase sales, increase engagement from your customers, increase your customer base, you're probably going to want to hit these areas down here because they're going to yield the greatest effect from that effort. So by looking at this, I can say that for everything from like week 28, now it's not in a row, so it's not like week 28 and above because there's some of those weeks up here. You have to read each week and see what they are, and you definitely want to hit these two. That could be with additional marketing again, maybe some sales, some radio time, doing different things, maybe doing a gimmick to get people in the door. It could be any of those things. So that's what the Pareto chart will show, and that's something we really want to have because it identifies areas where you're going to have problems. And you can identify them because they usually reoccur the same weeks unless you do some additional marketing to bring them up. Then we have a standard line chart which shows us, well, where the masses are. So when you look at this thing up here, we see a lot of reds, we see some greens, we see a lot of yellows, but it doesn't really tell us who's really where quickly. This one kind of does. It's a little bit messy if you have a lot of reps, that's a lot of sales reps. But what's kind of neat is you clearly see that Greg is a standout every single month. Somebody beats him here at one point in time. Peter does. Okay. Other than that, maybe Greg went on vacation. That probably is what happened there. Okay. It shows you for every week. Obviously, if you want to see it laid out with every week a little bit better, you can pull it out and make it bigger. I just made it this size so they're all in a row here. But you can clearly see here that the average sales rep sells between 2 and 3 cars a week, which adds up to what you saw up above of somewhere around 12 to 13 to 14 cars a month. That's not a whole lot, so the sales managers here can quickly identify that and start, educating the whole group as a mass to what they need to do to increase sales, to increase their funnels, to get more people in the door, stuff like that. Then what we have here is our consistency distribution, which is done with a box and whisker chart. And you can clearly see here, again, the same thing we saw up above, that the vast majority of people are right here at about this line, somewhere around 3 sales per week. And obviously Greg, you can see him way up here, is in the 7 to 13 range, 7 to 12 range per week. That's a lot of cars compared to what's down there. And then we have a stacked line, but this is not a regular stacked line. This is a 100% stacked line. What that means is it takes the highest performer, which is Greg, and then it measures everyone by them on the sales team. So you'll see how much percent are they away from or close to Greg. So the next one, I believe this is Andrew. It's hard to tell from these colors, but I think this is Andrew. You can change these colors if you want anyway. All you gotta do is click on this and change your colors. Under chart styles, you just click this and pick your color. I'm not going to do that right now. So, but you can just clearly see who is where, and then obviously your bottom liars or your, in this case, I think it's Mark and Robbie are having the biggest problem. They're the farthest away from him. So maybe the best thing that the managers here could do, the sales managers, is pair up those at the bottom with Mr. Greg here. So have him, be their supervisor or something, pay him a little extra, maybe extra 5% a sale for when these guys make a sale down here, so he's got some stake in the game with these guys to help bring their sales up, help them get on the phone, to get people in, teach them how to close, whatever it is. Get these guys up there. And that does work. So you've got here 5 cool charts, and you've got actual data of a car sales dealership locally here. And I've shown you how to quickly color code this to make it so that you can quickly see where everybody is at every week through the year. How to take a previous year's, so that's what you'd want to do here. If you're plotting the next year's, you'd want to show your previous years to get your goals. So you would take, like, this is 2017. So you would take these goals, and then you would set your goals going along. Okay, this person's weekly goal is 3. Their monthly goal is 15. If you set those and you hold them hard, sometimes when you just set monthly goals and you don't have weekly goals, they won't reach the monthly goal at the end because they'll put it off saying, oh, 15, that's easy, it's simple, it's not going to be hard. And then what happens is it gets to 5 days from the goal line, they're like, oops, I'm sitting at 8. It's not going to happen, most likely. It still could, but it's rare. So if you use weekly goals and you hold them to the weekly goals, okay, so their weekly goal is 3, this guy beat his goal here, he definitely did not here, and you keep holding them to that, they will meet or exceed their monthly goals if you do that. And then if they keep meeting them too easily, you can increase their goals and make them higher, and they should also correlate as they go along as these raise. I also had the modified goals. I showed you how to do that. That's important to have, so you have a low level that you don't want people to dive below that, because then they get either special attention or whatever they need to kind of try and prop them up. If they don't want to listen to that, then they go out the door. That's the way sales works. Some people are made for sales, some people are not. But this is a great way to measure and quickly identify who's where every week of the year, and then you can quickly see down below where your problem areas are with your sales reps, and also with your sales as a whole. So if you have low areas like you have right here in the Pareto chart, you can go and identify those right here and go deal with them. Do some marketing, plan ahead for some marketing, plan ahead to get your sales reps to start getting customers in, get them ready, call them back to customers, maybe hitting the service bay area and asking them, for if there's people that have a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old car, and see if you can go out there and talk them into buying a new car. That's where a lot of sales come from. So as you go down here, you can quickly see again where your middle of the road sales reps are, where your high road is, where your top salespeople, your middle of the road, and your bottom salespeople are. And then here how far away they are. So this one you could easily give to a top performer like Greg here and tell him to, hey, we're going to give you a little bit extra. Go help these guys out. Every sale that they make, you get X amount of dollars. You get $50, or you get something, whatever it is. You got to give them some stake in the game. If you don't, they're not going to take much effort in. They're going to be like, oh, I helped them a little bit, and blah, blah, blah. If you want them to really put some effort into it, give them a little stake in the game. Give them a little piece of the action, and they will help you out a lot. So anyway, I hope you like this. This showed you how to quickly graph any sales data. This is in particular with car sales, but it could be for anything. Tells you the number of sales per week and all that. I showed you how the different graphs you can use. These are all very important to sales, especially identifying low areas that you need to market to, and identifying sales reps that need help and sales reps that are doing great, and to project your goals. So I hope you found this helpful. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe and like, and have a great day.